We'll look at a chapter called Force and Pressure, which is one of the chapters of our physical science. Here, when you look at the title, obviously it is going to give something about the force and pressure. What does it mean by a force and what does it mean by a pressure? Actually, it is wrongly interpreted that the force and pressure were supposed to be the same, but actually the force and pressure are two different entities, and how the force and pressure vary one from each other and what is the relationship between them and what are their applications, everything we are going to look at in this particular chapter called force and pressure. First of all, we'll look at the definition part of force. Here, as the definition comes, I can define the force as a push or pull given to a body which changes or tends to change its state, meaning that when a force is applied, force is a physical quantity. When it is applied on a body, it changes its position or tends to change. As an example, when you are pushing a box on the floor, box is moving, it is displaced from one location to the other location. Because of the application of force, it is changed its position. Unlike that, when you are applying a force on the wall, if you are pushing the wall is not getting displaced, but still you say that force is applied on it because it is tending to change. So see here, if you look at few examples, it will be clear for you to understand what does it mean by a force. It's a physical quantity in fact. Here, the units of force, how do you measure? A physical quantity should definitely have a unit. Here, we are measuring the force in terms of newtons, just like the length is measured in meter, velocity is measured in meter per second. Here, force we are measuring in terms of Newton. So Newton is the unit of force, that is according to SI system. And coming to the CGS system, the units of force are dynes. So dyne is the unit in CGS system. Here, to understand this physical quantity, we are just looking at few examples. The very first example is like, while throwing a ball, force changes its state from rest to motion. As an example, you just consider a fielder in a cricket match. So, a fielder throws a ball from one person, a fielder throws a ball to the other cricketer. So, whenever the ball is in his hand, it is at rest condition. So, as he applies the force on it, it will be switched over to the motion. That means the ball is in motion. That means when one cricketer throws a ball to the other cricketer, it is taking the change from rest to motion. That means a force is applied to change its state from rest to motion. Therefore, we can consider force is a physical quantity which changes its state. Here, initially it was at rest because it is in his hands, and when he applies the force, it is set in motion. That is the first example, as you can see in the figure shown below. Now, coming to the second example, the same thing, when a fielder throws or a cricketer throws the ball, the other cricketer will be catching the ball. That means the ball is already in motion. Now, when he catches, he is bringing it to rest. That means the ball which is in motion is coming to the rest by means of the application of force. So, when he is holding the catch, he is applying the force so as to stop its motion. Therefore, force can be a physical quantity that changes. Here the state is motion to the rest. That means it's a vice versa condition, meaning that it changes a body from rest to motion or motion to rest. So in order to switch over, you require one physical quantity that is called as a force. Similarly, in all the cases, you cannot think that force is always changing its state. Sometimes it tries to change the state, but if the amount is not sufficient, the magnitude is not sufficient, it may not change the state, but it is trying to change. In such case also, you say that the force is applied. So you can look at the diagram where a person is pushing the wall, but wall is not moving. meaning that he is applying the force, but his force is not sufficient to change the state of the wall. Wall is still remaining at rest, but it is trying to change the state. That is the reason in the definition you are saying that a push or pull given to a body which changes or tends to change. It is not necessary that the position has to be changed. Even if it tries to get changed its state, still you say that a force is applied on that. So this is how you can look at the three figures given below. Look at the case of first thing, rest to motion. Look at the case of motion to rest. The third case is force is applied but it is not moved. In this way you can have a concept of force by means of these three examples.